Thanks for staying tuned. I'm Colin Abrams with the HGP SPORTSCAST. The Lady Jags over the past week have been preparing for their matches in the CONCACAF Caribbean Women's Qualifier. On Tuesday, the team's head coach, assistant coach and goalkeeper briefed the media on plans heading into the tournament. Here's more. The Lady Jags will first come up against Bermuda on May 23 at the National Track and Field Stadium, Lenora. Team coach Dr. Ivan Joseph says this is an important step towards the development of women's football in the region. He expressed elation at being in Guyana and said they expect a tough fight with Bermuda, which is estimated to be their toughest opponent.
To be here, clearly we're in a tough fight. There's quality competition. Bermuda's in the match. Barbados is in the match. We had a tough game against Suriname. We haven't had a lot of opportunity to prepare, but I'm sure that many of the other programs are in the same spot as we are. We feel like we've got a good team and a talented group that has the right blend and mix of players, and we're looking forward to seeing how the games will play themselves out. So, Mr.
Joseph said that even though the aim of this leg is to qualify, he believes it is more important to develop a program that is long-term.
Really, my focus is on how do we build a program that's sustainable. If I was to think about just qualifying here, I think we're looking at a short-term outcome, and what we're looking for is a long-term program that really builds a sustainable Lady Jaguars program. If you look at it, you're saying 2010. 2010 was 8 years ago. This team doesn't even closely resemble that team. 2016 was a good 2 years ago. You'll find probably half this team is new players and new faces. I want to move from playing in 2010, 6-year break, 2016, 2-year break, 2018. My focus isn't on do we get out of this round. Clearly that's one of our goals, but our focus is how do we build a program that continues to want to perform and is able to perform year in and year out so that we have a national program that feeds players and develops players.
The team set to take the field on Wednesday has not yet been announced, but the coach gave a quick rundown on his thought going into selection.
Now, we've selected 20, but in the last day of season before we were coming in and checking in, we had an injury. Actually, we've had 2, maybe 3. And so now we're waiting for a medical clearance to see if one of those players is going to clear. We've had 2 that are right on the edge, and we've got 1 for sure that is out. And so the 2 that are right on the edge, depending on if they're able to clear and go, that will dictate whether they get to move forward or not. If they don't, then hopefully CONCACAF will allow us to advance a player from our provisional list and play those and support or replace those injured players.
Meanwhile, the Barbados contingent arrived in Ghana to play Suriname on Wednesday afternoon in Game 1 of the Ghana qualifiers. The head coach said his girls have been preparing for the tournament, but they haven't gotten much practice time in since most of the team are seniors and have other obligations. The coach noted that 95% of his team are locally based players, but he feels they will perform well. Ghana will play Bermuda on Wednesday, Suriname on Friday, and Barbados on Sunday in the Group E of the CONCACAF Caribbean Women's Qualifier at the National Track and Field Stadium. For the HGP Sports, Colin Abrams. The King Midas Pansy Adonis Foundation awarded 25 students of the Annandale Secondary School for their outstanding performance in various categories of sports. Stanford Howard was there and filed this report.
The students had performed exceedingly well in the different sporting activities, including cricket, football, and even track and field. Deputy head teacher of the Annandale Secondary congratulated the students who received the awards.
They're not only dedicated to what they do here, but they're also dedicated to the national interest. And it also is a demonstration that with proper commitment and dedication, that they can reach the highest level of sports in the country. The Annandale Secondary School has been doing pretty good at sports, at cricket, at football, and we're hoping to be able to attain the same level of attainment, high achievement at table tennis and other sport activities that we're going to develop here.
The deputy head seized the opportunity to encourage students who didn't receive any award this year to be motivated to do their best in the future. Founder of the King's Midas Pansy Adonis Foundation, Mr. Andy King, remarked that Annandale Secondary is going down in history, since the school is the first in the Foundation's pilot program.
We would like to award you guys for your hard work in terms and your commitment towards your craft. Because in Guyana, we have a culture where once it's book time, you got to throw aside sports. But that's only Guyana. If you go to the US, you got to balance both. Now, what makes the organization so determined to get the message out is that we have a culture in Guyana where after high school, there is nothing else for the kids to do.
He also called on parents to be tolerant when their children aspire to achieve in a sport, since sports and academics go hand in hand.
What I'm trying to get to you athletes here is that sports can pay for your academics. Tell your parents, Mommy, sports can pay for my academics. Because if you have 13 subjects at take, and you sit the SATs, and you apply for a college in the US, you could be accepted as a foreign student through whatever academics you have, along with your athletics. Most of the colleges will not accept you based purely on academics.
Nicholas Fraser, head of the physical education component of the unit of Allied Arts, applauded Annandale for writing physical education for the first time last year and achieving excellent results.
To be competitive, even though we know that a very small ratio, a very small percentage of us will actually get first, we still all strive and we still all have that drive to be competitive. And so it's important as well to reward and celebrate successes. As a student and as an athlete, I tried to, whenever I did something that was good, I would reward myself.
For the HGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard.
Chennai Super Kings outplayed Sunrisers Hyderabad in the first playoff match in the IPL 2018 on Tuesday. Stanford has more.
Chennai Super Kings elected to have a bowl after they won the toss. Things didn't go as planned for Sunrisers, when Shakir Darwan was the first back into the pavilion for duck off the first delivery of the innings. Skipper Kane Wilmanson tried to give his side some stability with his 24, but he fell in the 5th over and Sunrisers were at that stage on 36 for 3. The middle order didn't trouble the scores much, but Windy's Carlos Brathwaite's knock of 43 from 29 balls helped to carry Sunrisers to 139 for 7 off their 20 overs. Chennai Super Kings in their reply were reduced to 62 for 6 by the outstanding Sunrisers Hyderabad bowling, but Fahd du Plessis took the game deep with his power hitting, with 43 to get off the last 2 overs. Carlos Brathwaite bowled the 18th over, with du Plessis hitting that over for 2 fours and a 6. Harbhajan Singh was then run out in the second to last ball of that over, with 23 runs to get Tarkat started the 19th over with 2 fours as they edged closer to their 7th final in 9 attempts. Du Plessis hit a 6 off the first ball of the 20th over to finish the match. For the HGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard.
Thank you, Stanford, and that has brought us to the end of this edition of the HGP Sportscast. Remember, if your dream is big enough, the facts don't matter at all. Goodbye.